Hey, it is Monday morning, and on the menu this morning we have 2 slices of 3 kilometers of easy running and a filling of 3 by 10 minutes of sub-threshold intervals of 60 seconds rest. I promise I'm not going to do food analogies all week. I'm only really going to go into detail on the running related training. Any other stuff I do I'll mention, but I'm not going to spend too much time on it for this video. That aside, I'm going to eat food, make coffee, etc. and I will see you out there. Alrighty, just on the warm-up. It is pretty nice weather today. It's still been weirdly warm most days for November, which I'm not a fan of, but it looks like we've not really got any wind and it's definitely not raining. So aside from it being a touch warm for the time of year, I think it will be a nice interval session today. Yeah, it's warm. I'm going to be really sweaty by the end of this. First interval down. Did that in an average pace of 5:19 a kilometre, which was exactly what I was after. I'm keeping to the lower end of the suggested pace ranges for the training method that I'm using, the Norwegian Singles Approach, because I still want to give myself time to adjust to it and ease into it. I think probably after Doncaster 10k I'll start to change things up a little bit, change the paces, maybe add some reps in or increase the length of the reps. Second rep done. Pacing was a bit more erratic. The turnaround point is really wet and slippery with leaves now, which is annoying, but still did an average of 5:19 a kilometre, so all good. Okay, workout done, just on my cool down. Yeah, that went really smoothly. I think I probably do need to maybe consider picking up the pace on those a little bit. Like, that felt really comfortable, and I think that's the most controlled I've kept the reps so far. First 2 were 5:19 average and the last one was a touch quicker at 5:18 average, but the running felt really smooth and the pace felt really comfortable. I'm gonna get this cool down wrapped up and see you back at the car. Alright, back at the car. Yeah, that was good. I'm gonna get my protein shake drunk, head home, and the rest of the day is a day off for me on Mondays because I have an offset weekend, so I'm gonna sort my breakfast out, do some video editing, and then maybe do a bit of upper body training or something in the afternoon to make sure I'm not sat down for the rest of the day. Alright, I'll catch you tomorrow. Tuesday. Before getting any further into the video, I just want to make it clear that I'm not squeezing all this training I'm doing around a standard work schedule. I have a very flexible job and I work part-time hours at that job. I do not have any kids and I have probably the most laid-back partner in the universe, so I'm very privileged with the flexibility of my time on a day-to-day basis. I'm not out here engaging some sort of warrior mindset to get all these sessions done. I'm not special, I simply have more time than the average person does. And at no point am I going to try and pretend like my training schedule is something that everybody can do, has the time to do, or has the mental energy to do. All right, with that out of the way, Tuesdays are a little bit lighter on the training front. I will, in a little while after lunch, run over to coach a client. That will be about 5 kilometers of running, and I'll be aiming to do that at an easy pace. There is a whacking great hill that I need to run up though, so the heart rate just does what it does on that. I then do an upper body session, which at the minute is mostly pull-up focused, and then I will coach my evening clients. Once I'm done coaching them, I run roughly 5 kilometers back home. All the running is just easy effort stuff. All right, I will catch you tomorrow morning when we have another interval session on the menu. Oh, I said I wasn't going to do food and allergies. Oh well, too late. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Okay, just on my warm up for my interval session. Run about 3k to the park where I run around, do a few drills, and then we're going to do 4 by 6 minutes at roughly half marathon pace. Okay, we're ready to rock and roll. I've done my warm up, done some drills, and the watch is ready to go. Okay, 4 by 6 minutes. Let's get into it. Screwed up already. 3 seconds too quick on that first rep. Not sure how. Oh well, try and do a bit better on the next few. I'm still working at the lower end of the pace range, so 3 seconds too quick is still in the pace range, but it's just not at the absolute lower end, which is where I want to stay. Done it again. It was too fast again. 1 second faster than the first rep. This isn't supposed to be happening. I think this is probably an indication that I have been running the reps well undercooked, and I should be running them faster. We'll see how I feel throughout the rest of the day. So close. We were 2 seconds faster on that rep. Oh well, there goes my really nice pacing graph. Okay, just terrible job all round on the pacing there. Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess my legs feel good. I think that's all we can really put it down to. Can't keep them reined in. So that's the next challenge, is figuring out how to keep them more reined in, I guess. It's important to do a bit of litter picking on the way home. That is part of the workout. So today the pickings are a bit slim actually. I've only got this empty can of Heineken and a wrapper from Greg's. Yeah, not much else in the park today, which is good I suppose. And we skip ahead to later in the afternoon where I have another 5k run down to the gym where I do my strength session, bit of light plyometrics, and then moving on to some heavier plyometrics. We're doing some depth jumps here. Plyometrics are to help with reactive force output and just general lower limb health, and I follow that up with some single leg bounding, which looks hilarious. We then move on to the heavy stuff. We're pretty close to Doncaster 10k now, so my heavy bilateral work is reducing in volume and increasing in intensity to keep working on my peak strength while reducing the amount of overall fatigue I'm experiencing alongside my normal running volume. Single leg stuff in this workout is mostly step ups. I am using quite a big range of motion for these, but I'm pretty used to using that range of motion. I could definitely do this with a shallower step if I wanted to and just increase the amount of weight I'm using. I also do a little bit of small muscle work here, working on my hip flexors by using this sort of little kettlebell movement. I then finish off the workout with some really heavy soleus calf raises. I just stick a bunch of weight on the leg press for these pretty much. And then after this, I coach my evening clients and then I run home, which, same as the run to work, takes roughly 5 kilometers, and I try and keep it at a relatively easy effort. It was pretty miserable again on this run home. I forgot to really record anything on Thursdays, so I'm just adding this in here that all I really do on Thursdays is do a little bit of a body training, and I will either run commute to the gym if I have to be down there for some reason, or I will fit in 2 shorter runs at some point during the day. On this particular Thursday, I'd been doing bits of work most of the day and was feeling quite cooped up, so I did a bit of upper body stuff, and then I jogged down into Neepsen to grab a hot chocolate at a cafe, and then ran home via an errand that I had to run. So I still got to about sort of 9 kilometers running for the day at mostly easy effort. But yeah, nothing really exciting to report for Thursday's training. Okay, it's Friday morning. The weather is pretty minging, but we have an interval session to get done before I coach my clients. 6:45. I was doing this session between clients, but I think I've decided I need to just get it done very first thing, so that I'm not worrying about how long the sessions are going to take me in the hour between clients. We're doing something a little bit different for our workout today. It is the normal workout I've been doing on a Friday, which is 8 by 3 minutes at sub-threshold, but I'm trying a pair of carbon plated shoes today for the first time ever. So I don't really know how it's going to feel or go. Yeah, I will report back probably at the end of the workout. If I get some footage in this dark minging weather, I will, obviously you'll see it, but I feel like it's unlikely I'm going to get anything filmed. But I'll take the camera with me anyway. Okay, catch you in a bit. That is the best that workout has ever gone so far. I normally have a really hard time with the Friday workout. Physically, the paces are fine, but I really struggle to concentrate, and mentally the workout feels really hard. So normally by rep 6, my brain is like giving up on me. So the shoes did feel really nice. Felt like the running was smoother than normal, felt nice and poppy, but I don't think that accounts for the mental change. I don't know, maybe? Like, I can't describe how much of a mental struggle that workout normally is, and today it was absolutely fine. I really think that just wearing a pair of carbon plated shoes cannot have been the only reason for things feeling good up here. So I don't know, I'm not really sure. We'll have to see if it feels as good next week, I guess. And maybe I've got over a mental hump. We'll find out. Saturday morning is a parkrun sandwich, a jog over to the parkrun, do the parkrun as a nice chatty social effort, and then on my way home I go into Greg's and pick up my post-run carbs, which is very important. Saturday afternoon, I'm at the gym, and while I'm there, I do my second lower body strength session of the week. I do my lower intensity plyometrics, and then I do some slightly different higher intensity plyometrics to what I do earlier in the week. For the single leg stuff, I'm playing around with different ideas at the minute and just trying some different stuff out to see what works. And then I move on to my heavy stuff, which at the minute consists of trap bar deadlift. It's about 110 kilograms on there, and then I move on to deficit Romanian deadlifts, which are quite challenging. I really like them in a sort of masochistic kind of way, and I do honestly think that doing a couple of sets of heavy Romanian deficit deadlifts every week has just made me really good at running uphill, which it's not super helpful for this training block, but for the normal kind of running that I do throughout the year, it's pretty necessary for trying to overtake people on difficult trail courses. So yeah, really like doing these. Single leg compound exercise for this workout is the Bulgarian split squat. Still keeping the volume a little bit higher on the single leg stuff. I am peaking towards Doncaster 10k a bit, but I'm not
excessively peaking because it's not really the goal race of the block. At the minute, the leg extension at the gym is broken, so I'm just playing around with different options for isolating my quads. And at the minute, I think doing reverse Nordics is probably my best option. Otherwise, I have to faff around with the cable machine and try and figure out something. But yeah, these are quite hard. You can probably tell by my facial expression that they're pretty challenging. And then I finish off with some heavy straight-legged calf raises, again using the leg press just because it's way easier to slap a bunch of weight on this and really load the calves up. I did have to do a short treadmill run because I didn't fit it all in earlier in the day. All right, Sunday long run, doing 23 kilometers this morning. Now that's quite a bit longer, both in distance and time, than what the Norwegian Singles Approach would suggest. I mentioned in my previous video that I'm used to doing long distance stuff, so I've kept the long runs in the program. We're also on a pretty hilly one today, which again, method doesn't suggest that you do really hilly runs, but I'm also used to running a lot of hills, and I live in Sheffield, which, as you may or may not know, is a really hilly city. So you kind of have to go out of your way to run flat routes around here. So it's easier to just try and embrace the hills most of the time. If you clicked on the video, obviously you've seen the thumbnail. I don't have any rest days. That is not necessarily something I would recommend to everyone. That is something I've built up to, and it's something I am comfortable with. And you'll have noticed that I have days that are a lot easier with lower volume and lower intensity. I'm pretty diligent about my sleep, which definitely helps a lot with recovery. I try and make sure I'm eating plenty, get carbs in, get enough carbs in before and after workouts, sometimes during. And I'm pretty careful about my overall load management, which is where the Norwegian Singles Approach works really well, because no individual workout is putting me into a really deep hole. I can recover from it in time to do the next one. While no individual workout is like jumping up my fitness in one go, what we do see is more of a gradual stacking over time, a consistent upward trend in fitness. Side note, isn't this great? I have not driven anywhere for this. I just run from my house and I get... So we've got Sheffield over there, and then you can start to see bits of the peaks, and over there you've got the Backtor rocks we can see, and you can see the Coach and Horses from here. So that is Derwent Edge over there. Yeah, haven't even had to drive anywhere. I am on my way back towards Sheffield at the minute. We are comfortably into the second half of the run. We've got about 10k left to go. I really like this route. Really enjoying it. So I'll probably be using this route again, I think. Just really nice views the whole way, providing the weather's clear, obviously. Yeah, just a super nice run out. So lucky around here. Sheffield's just a really great city for being a runner. Less so if you're more of a track runner, because all the tracks are open at fairly limited times. But on the whole, if you're a fell runner, trail runner, road runner, just a really good place to live and train. Anyway, I'm going to stop yapping and get the last 10k of my run done, and I'll see you back at home, because there is one more element of my weekly training to talk about, and we'll have a chat about that when I get back. See you there.
Okay, I lied to you. Got home, got distracted, just got my calories in, and then what I normally do after my long run is I do a little bit of heat training. Now, I don't have a great setup for this at home. It's pretty much running a really, really hot bath, basically as hot as I can tolerate. Once it's filled up enough, I pull the shower screen across to kind of like keep as much of the steam sort of in the bath area as possible. I put on a really warm hat, and then I put a towel over my head and try and like create a pocket of heat, and I'll try and sit in that for, at the minute, about 10 minutes, and that's after having sat in the bath water as it's filling up as well. So it ends up amounting to probably about 20 minutes of time spent in hot water and in steam. This is not the most effective way of doing heat training. It's just what fits into my schedule at the minute, and I'm just popping that in there to try and keep things ticking over winter. I really struggle with the heat. I cope very, very badly with it. So this really is just a little something in there to try and make sure I don't lose all of my heat tolerance over winter. I would like to improve this element. I just haven't really figured out a good way of fitting more of it in at the moment that works around the rest of my life and my schedule. We do normally go bouldering on Sundays. That will be the last sort of training I do for the week. So that is a full week of training using the Norwegian Singles Approach as I prepare for Doncaster 10K. If you have enjoyed this video or found it useful, then please like and subscribe. I will be producing a video every single week. So we'll see the accumulation of the training for Doncaster, and then after that we'll be working towards my next goal. Continuing to use the Norwegian Singles Approach as it feels like it's working, so I'm going to stick with it. If you're interested in following along, then come join us. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.